Welcome back to another episode of We Don't Know What to Watch, the podcast where two guys watch random movies and talk about them on the internet. And with me, as always, is the Clint Eastwood to my Andy Garcia, Kyle Mulford, and I'm Noah Sattard. How you doing, Kyle?
Get off my lawn.
Get off my mule.
Get off my mule.
I
I
assume it's about that.
I ate all of the drugs and I
All the
can't poop.
drugs, they're all in your tum-tum and then they can't poop.
I can't poop.
So we'll be here for 10 days.
Yes.
All right, so the movie we watched was called The Mule, not to
And
be confused with the other movie called The Mule.
the
This one did not have an
2018
old
one.
man Clint Eastwood who can drive a car.
Yes. No, we watched the 2014 Australian movie called The Mule.
This is like Frozen. It's going to be like that other movie named Frozen, which is just going to be disappeared. Except not as bad because at least this one wasn't made by. At least this one isn't a Disney. At least the other one isn't a Disney movie.
And this one is funny because I had never heard of this, and this came out in 2014, and one of the main actors is Hugo Weaving, and this
Yeah.
was well after establishing him with like all of his, he'd been in Marvel movies and Lord of the Rings and Matrix, and I mean, like, and this movie just went
And
under the
Priscilla,
radar.
Queen of the Desert.
And then it's also got Lee Winnell, and it was written by Lee Winnell, and this is after Saul, and after like after a couple other movies he had written and he'd been in Insidious already and everything. So it's weird. It must have been just a little independent film that came out of Australia.
Yeah.
But our little snowball pitch here is what kind of a dim-witted guy.
A different guy decided in 1983 Australia decides that he wants to make some real money for once instead of working at a kind of his dead-end job. So he decides, all right, I'm going to go with my friend. We're going to go to Bangkok. We're going to get some drugs. And he agrees to be the drug mule. So to get him through customs, he has to eat him.
Yep. The only thing is though, I didn't get that he wanted to get out of his dead-end job and that's why he did it. He did it because his parents were in gambling debt and they were gonna go after his parents, and that's the only reason he did it, because I don't think he would have chosen to do it if not.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty straight-laced kind of guy.
Yeah, and kind of a little slow. Just he lives with his parents, and he's not dumb because he's a genius repairing TVs and everything, but just a little slow on the social uptake.
Not very worldly, so to speak.
Yeah. So his friend, his quote unquote friend, is the one who asks him to bring these drugs in, and then he goes, "Oh, and by the way, if you don't do it, your stepdad's in gambling debt, and we're gonna come after your mom."
Mm-hmm.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Do you think that might influence your decision?
A little bit.
So yeah, then he decides to do it, and
But things seem to be going okay. The end.
yeah, he gets the drugs, he passes them through customs, and makes lots of money, right?
Or does he?
Or does he?
Or
Or
he
does he
gets
just
stopped
not
by-
poop?
Or does he get stopped by the cops?
He gets stopped up by the codeine.
Mm-hmm. And
Uh,
next thing you know, he has to, if he poops and he poops out the drugs, then he's going to prison.
Yeah, and so let's talk about this a little bit. Like, so we've got this main, drug dealer there in Australia, and so like they set up this whole thing where they've got like a soccer team that gets to go on a trip, and they made him clubman of the year just so that he would go on the trip and do this.
Mm-hmm.
And the main guy, the main drug dealer is John Noble. So we've got Hugo Weaving as a cop and John Noble as the Australian drug kingpin, and both of them were in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Aha.
Yeah, so he has him do that, and he's got his lackey played by Lee Winnell, who is kind of a friend to Ray, played by Angus Sampson, but kind of uses him for this a little bit. And he's the one who's supposed to go pick up the drugs in Thailand, I think they went to. And he was only supposed to get a half a kilo, but he decides to get a full kilo, and he was going to
He
keep
wants to
half.
undercut the boss.
he was gonna undercut his boss and sell some of it on his own. Well, he makes Ray swallow all of it. It ties it up in condoms and has him swallow it, and they're about to make it through the airport when Ray gets really nervous and just kind of, he doesn't even let anything on, but like he decides, or he just gets nervous and flustered, and it kind of pricks up the ears of the security there. So cops take him to a hotel, and they're like, well, if you refuse to get an x-ray or any sort of medical examination, that's kind of like saying you're guilty, but we can keep you for like 7 days in a hotel. And and then they like put like so no running water in the bathroom, and they put like a stopper in the toilet so that when he goes to the bathroom he can't flush it down or anything.
Hmm.
And then it just gets kind of, I saw some places this was labeled as a comedy, like a dark comedy, and
Yeah,
I don't,
there are some funny bits, but man, this gets dark.
this goes real dark
I
places
mean, the
with,
cops are just beating this guy up just to try and get him to get the drugs. And the
and
longer this goes on, because this goes on for days, he's stuck in this hotel room.
well, yeah, because then the one cop played by Hugo Weaving, he really wants him to go to the bathroom, so he keeps going to the judge and gets it extended. He gets it extended to 10 days, and then eventually, like that, those days are coming up, and then he like they lie to him and say, "Oh yeah, we get to keep you." The judge, because there's a bad cop too
Hmm.
who finds out about like the drugs and all this stuff, and is gonna try and sell them on his own and whatever. But the only thing that perplexed me through most of it was Ray's willingness to like go through with this when he could have just given up everybody and gone on. But then you finally get to a scene where his friend Gavin, played by Lee Winnell, he's supposed to go in and kill Ray so that he doesn't talk.
Hmm.
And when he goes in there, he goes, "Have you talked to them yet?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Why haven't you said anything? Like, why haven't you ratted us out?" And Ray just goes, "Cause we're brothers." Like, he's a very simple man, and he just wants to be these people's friends. And then his then Gavin decides to not kill him because he's just like, oh, he really is just this good guy.
Hmm.
So, which I kind of liked that, like, like that's, he's doing this just because he really likes Gavin, and Gavin finally gets that and makes the ultimate sacrifice for him because of that.
Not necessarily intentionally.
Not intentionally, no, but he
So he
does end up, but
talks to the
he
dirty
knows he
cop.
was risking his life by not killing him.
Gavin talks to the dirty cop, finds out the dirty cop is dirty, then poor Gavin takes a jump. Or maybe he's pushed. He's definitely pushed off of a roof at a
Takes a
hotel.
nosedive off of a hotel roof.
Hmm.
But yeah, I like the character, and I like this. They have this ongoing thing with a boat race going on at the time, Australians versus Americans, and so like there's this whole tension building with that because like the whole country's watching and all that, and so then like there's all these themes, like they're at a bar and they're like, oh, let's do a boat race, and like so like they go down the table, like racing down the table, drinking who can drink faster, and all this, and then it like ultimately leads to the climax of where the drugs end up getting hidden, and everybody's around the TV and it's all fritzy.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because at the end you realize you can never underestimate Ray because he is smarter. And at one point he does literally just like poop his pants because he can't hold it in after like I think like on he can't hold it in, but then he realizes like okay, the guard's still asleep, so maybe I can do something.
And I'm gonna say right now, that scene, I was sitting there gagging, almost throwing up through that entire scene. It
Yeah,
was
this is
so
hard to watch because this character is clearly just in pain, so much pain because he clearly needs to poop, but he does not. Makes you almost feel constipated just watching him.
he does, and I have to say he did an excellent job in this film of like
Hmm.
portraying that pain. Like I agree. Like when he had to do what he did when he finally did go to the bathroom, I was just gagging along with him, and I just felt his pain as he was curled up on that bed in there. Because yeah, if you don't go poop for that many days, you're gonna have so much gas built up in you that you're just gonna be in excruciating pain. And
Hmm.
he really portrayed that on screen. It
So
was
yeah,
pretty
this is
impressive.
And for that, this movie is definitely hard to watch. I don't think I'd ever want to watch it again anytime soon, simply because you feel his pain.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't want to watch it again because he was so good.
Uh-huh. He acted too well.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then you kind of hate Hugo Weaving's character, the cop, at first, but then you get to a point where it's like, oh, then you see at the end, it's like, oh, he's kind of a mean cop, but he doesn't break the rules.
Well, I mean, he still beats someone up when he shouldn't.
He
I mean,
he does it, like, but like, there's
it's
worse.
still police brutality and everything,
He
but
still is police brutality, but like,
he doesn't want to sell drugs.
yeah, no, he's he's like, I bend the rules, but you broke them. But yeah, it's definitely. I just don't think that I don't think you can label this as a comedy.
Hmm.
There are some funny parts. There's some funny lines that definitely that kind of lighten the mood a little, but it's more
Definitely
of
feels
a
like a crime drama, in some case, a bit of a crime thriller.
yeah. And I liked a lot of the characters in it. I liked the Gavin character, and I think they all had some interesting arcs.
I even liked how they got Ray's mom to come in to try and get him to poop.
And then the cops ended up with the laxatives.
Yes.
That was pretty great. Um, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to it. It's pretty straightforward, but it's well acted, especially by the lead. I think
Hmm.
his name was Angus Sampson,
Yes.
and
I still feel like this almost feels like it's based on a true story, but then I don't think it is. I checked on Wikipedia, it says it's just fiction, but
well, because I was going to mention that because the beginning of the movie actually said based on a true story,
okay.
and I went onto Wikipedia, I Googled, I like searched everywhere, and I could not find anything linking this movie to a true story. So
So
I
maybe it's
wonder
like
if,
Fargo, where they just say it.
yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, we'll just hook you by saying it's a based on a true story because why not?
Hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe there could be some truth to it. I don't know. I don't know how long anybody's gone without pooping with drugs in their stomach. That's that would be an interesting factoid.
Imagine if this turned into like a Lucy situation, drugs in the stomach, and then it gives him superpowers.
Yes, they all break, and instead of killing him, just
It's just heroin, yeah.
no. It's so yeah. It was an interesting movie to watch once for sure.
Hmm.
I don't know if you have much else to say about it. This might be a short episode.
I think it might be, so I guess we should kind of move on to our next segment, which is double features. And would you recommend this movie first?
Yeah, if you like crime dramas and like these kind of like it's a very tense movie, and sometimes those can be kind of fun. Just
Yeah, you
that
make you
tension
feel like
building, is he going to outlast the cops here? You know?
mhm. Or will his body betray him?
Yeah, you really were the whole time. Like I
Really,
thought
it kind of makes it clench up.
it does, and the pacing was really well done, and like I said, the acting. So yeah, I would recommend this movie. It's definitely like we said. There's a couple scenes that are really hard to watch, but it's because it's done so well.
So I guess what would you pick to go as a double feature with this?
See, I really struggle with this. I've been actually thinking hard about this the last couple days, and I just because I was trying to come up with something where someone is tricked into coerced into a good person is coerced into doing a crime by a friend. And I know I've seen movies like that and just nothing is coming to, like, I was even Googling that. I'm like, nothing is coming up. So I actually went the Fargo route. And I think just because both of them are a little darker and they're supposed to be dark comedies, where Fargo does the comedy a little better, even though it gets some dark places, and they both open up with based on a true story. And I don't think either one of them are. So I think it would actually pair well with that, and watch Fargo second because that's going to cleanse your palate a little because the comedy is a little more prevalent in that.
Hmm. Well, yeah, Fargo is definitely a good pick, and I kind of wanted to do that one, but instead, I guess I'll do another Coen Brothers movie about drugs. This one's more of a straight-laced thriller. I'm definitely gonna go with No Country for Old Men, similar in the story about sort of a a guy who kind of gets stuck in an extraordinary situation and multiple groups are after him.
Yeah, it's a
So
good point.
that one is definitely a fair amount darker than Fargo, and arguably even darker than, definitely darker than the Mule.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I don't remember. Are there any scenes to watch that are as hard to watch as that one particular scene in this movie, though?
There are a few scenes that I think are hard to watch,
All right. Well,
but not in the same intestinal way.
yeah, I wish I had more to say about this, but again, it's one I recommend. Well done, tense, and really keeps you on the edge of your seat through the
Hmm.
whole thing, and does have a couple moments of levity. So I mean,
Yes.
uh, but yeah, that's a recommend. And I think we can go on to our next movie, which will be
Spin the wheel. All genres, 70% or better.
and spin.
Spin, spin, spin.
All right, we've got Swedish Thriller based on Stieg Larsson's novel about a male journalist and a young female hacker. In the opening of the movie, Mikael Blomkvist, a middle-aged publisher for the magazine Millennium, loses a libel case brought by corrupt Swedish industrialist Hans Erik Wennerstrom. Nevertheless, he is hired by Henrik Vanger in order to solve a cold case, the disappearance of Vanger's niece.
I have, I think this is the one about a girl, and then she has a Nick Nolte tattoo. That's what it's right? The girl with the Nick Nolte tattoo?
Yes, it's very creepy Nick Nolte tattoo.
Yeah, the girl with the dragon tattoo. I've only seen the American remake of this, directed by David Fincher, which I enjoyed.
I have actually only seen this version.
Oh, right.
Um, so yeah, this is the original. What is it? Swedish?
Yeah,
No,
because it's a Swedish book.
Denmark,
Denmark. Danish, I think.
Danish. So yeah, this is Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and you can watch this on Prime Video, Fandor, Hoopla, Canopy, Sundance Now, Tubi, Plex, and Popcorn Flicks.
So it's available.
It is very available. The thing is I don't think they made any more movies with this one has Numi Rapace in it.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, they finished the trilogy.
Oh, did they end up
They did all three.
or was it or it was the David
The
Fincher one they
American
didn't
one
do
didn't
all.
do well enough to get a sequel.
Okay, so I think I've only seen the first one of these, so maybe if I revisit this I'll want to watch the rest of them. Who knows? So, yeah, you can watch that on a lot of different platforms and we'll watch that for next time.
Yeah, and make sure to get a dragon tattoo,
Well, yeah.
of course,
A giant lizard tattoo.
on your butt.
But in the meantime, though, you can find us online at Twitter. I'm at AwesomeKM.
I'm at Noah_Saturn. That is spelled Satern.
And we're on Instagram at We Don't Know We Don't Know What to Watch. And you can email us at We Don't Know What to Watch at gmail.com. And you can comment below and you can like our video or you can dislike it. I don't care. Just interact with us. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And until next time, I gotta poop.
Until next time, don't you dare poop, or we're both going to prison.